G'day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video, and I'm going to be doing a tier list. This is a after the anniversary tier list for global, just before we go into the worldwide celebration, because why not? We're going to be doing a couple of them, so this one's going to be looking at TURs, and yeah, basically, honestly speaking, most TURs are pretty much out. There's a couple that are out on JP. I won't be reviewing those because obviously I have not seen them in action. But yeah, let's take a look at the TURs and let's see who are the top 10. So I'm just going to start placing them and then we'll allocate them afterwards. But we'll start from the top left here and then kind of move through. So we have Goku. He will definitely be in the top 10. Moving along, obviously this is Goten, Trunks, and Krillin. Very good damage dealer, but not in the top 10. Bardock has a great leader skill, also a great damage dealer. Probably not in the top 10, but we'll put him there for now. We have Baby, who's a JP only. We have the Blue Boys from the Realm of the Gods, a good all-round unit, but not good enough to be in the top 10. They have this unit twice. We have the Tech Androids. An incredibly good unit, but again, also probably not in the top 10, and same with Frieza. We then have Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, who could potentially be in the top 10. We have Raccoon and Gildo, probably aren't in the top 10, but are very good. Same with Jason Berta. We have Captain Ginyu, who I think is still an exceptional choice, and I will put him here just as an honorable mention. We then have God Goku, who will most certainly be in the top 10. We have SS4 Gogeta, who's a great unit, but unfortunately is not top 10 material. Future Gohan, who's also a great unit, but again not top 10 material. Goku and Gohan, who I think are awesome and will definitely be mentioned, if not in the top 10. We then have Future Gohan, who's a great unit, but has aged. We have the Super Saiyan 2 into Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who's aged as well. We have another Super Saiyan 2 into Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who is more recent and is a great damage dealer. We have transforming SS3 Gotenks, who's not going to be there, but is still a great unit. We have the Trunks and Goten's banner unit, who are okay. We have the Jocko, the patrolman, who's not going to be in there. We have the Janemba, who I think is a great floating support for extreme teams, but is not going to be in the top 10. Kale, who's fantastic, but again is unfortunately not going to be in the top 10. Kefla, well, just because she's on JP, and I haven't been able to use her yet enough on the global side. Kefla, who's a great unit, damage dealer wise, but not good enough defensively. And Kale and Caulifla, who are great, but just limited via their team. These three, though, definitely improve with the arrival of her, so it's going to be interesting to see. Cell could definitely get a mention. Kid Goku can definitely get a mention. Krillin actually low-key can get a mention. Piccolo Jr. is definitely on the list. Pan's a great support, but she's not there as a top 10 material comparatively to a unit like Krillin. And Pan, the GT Pan, is not good enough to be there yet. Paikuhan's got great utility, but he's not going to be on the list. And although Chaditz is super popular in meme and meme alone, he's not going to be on there. Super Vegeta is a really cool unit, but he unfortunately is a high volume damage dealer, more so than anything else. Then we have Tien, who's a good banner unit, but that's about it. We have the Turles support gang, and we have Turles himself, who's JP. These are all JP, so unfortunately I cannot mention them. Then we have Gohan, who, yes, I am going to put him there, surprisingly. We then have Majin Vegeta. We have Yamcha, Yajirobe, and I'm going to end things off with this Piccolo. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 units to fit into our top 10. I do usually expand it a little bit, but Bardock probably can fall out, and I probably will drop out maybe. Well, we'll see. We'll see where we go. So I think in terms of the top TURs, I think the list is pretty easy at the top section. I think you have Goku and Piccolo. They are interchangeable. It's going to depend on who you like. Personally, I have Goku over Piccolo due to his team, but you can have Piccolo over Goku due to his exceptional high damage output. Both are exceptional units. I think they are really, really top quality. Then third place, I think, is God Goku. Could easily be at either point here. I think his leader skill is great. I think he as a unit is great. I think the issue that he does have is that these two seem to be a step above. Like, they just get there a lot faster, a lot quicker. He's got a revive, a standby skill. He's really got a fantastic AoE skill for World Tournament and just in general, and does huge volume damage. He's got giant form. His transformation does not really inspire me that much. It's pretty cool, and it does good high volume damage, but it just doesn't really inspire me. Then we have Gamma 1 and Gamma 2. Definitely, you know, a level above probably most of these units, except for maybe Goku. So it's going to depend on how you roll here. This Goku is exceptional. His dupes are really good, and if you have LR Bulma, his team is insane. He is like a 50% support that also can be very, very tanky and do crazy damage. So because of his team, even though it's a bit more selective, this Goku is a really, really top choice. Gamma 1 is really, really good, and so is Gamma 2. So I'd say everything up to here is probably pretty easy. I think all of them are, there's like a level. I would say like from here, the level drops a little bit in terms of TURs. Not that the other units are bad per se, just that they are definitely not at the same level as maybe, you know, the other units on this list. So this is where things get a little bit interesting. So you have Yamcha. Now Yamcha is basically the same thing as Goku, just with a lot less defense. Yamcha can do some insane damage. If you've watched some of my videos where we're using Yamcha for his damage, he can do some pretty nutty damage. So I think he has to be on the cusp of the top 10. At the same time as well, if we're looking at the list here, we have some pretty interesting units. I will say, if I take a look here, I do think, for me at least, this Goku falls away. I think Yajirobe, although super duper useful and really, really fun to run, is still more a support and doesn't carry the same leeway as some of these other units. And I would have to say, although Captain Ginyu is super fun, he also has to fall away. His team is just a bit too limited. He's great. If you've got a full Ginyu Force team, you've got like 2 dupes in all of them, it's a super fun team to run that's spearheaded by Ginyu, but that's literally about it. He's just a bit too limited, and trying to run him on Terrifying Conquerors doesn't really work out too well. So then that brings us to these 6 for 3 positions. So Krillin and Piccolo are the only banner units you see here, and for good reason. So Piccolo on a Movie Heroes team is incredibly tanky. He does need maybe a dupe, but he is incredibly tanky, and for good reason. He's just very, very solid. Krillin is kind of the same thing. Krillin has like 60% damage reduction before he supers, which is pretty clutch and also very, very good. He also really kind of, in the same way Piccolo can kind of complete Movie Heroes teams, he kind of completes this Goku's team. Like all of a sudden you have these two together and you just feel like this team just has what it needs to take on hard content. So I kind of want to put them as honorable mentions in 10th slot. The thing is, they don't have leader skills. So as much as there are exceptional units, there are units that complement teams more so than make teams. And when you don't have leader skills and things like that, if a new player pulls this Piccolo, that's great, but they can't build really realistically a team around him. Like, he'll be very good on a Movie Heroes team that they build, but he's not going to build a Movie Heroes team for them. So that brings me to these 4 units. Now, Vegeta is an interesting one, and Gohan's also an interesting one. Now, Gohan is kind of an honorable mention at this point, because Gohan has this really, really insane ability to still be so relevant to today, and it's all based on his greatly raising attack and defense. I think he's just really, really solid, and I think you have to kind of respect that with him as a unit. I think he brings so much to the table, and he's just really good from that perspective. So Gohan, I think, is excellent. Can you build around him though? So if you have double Gohans, if they're both rainbowed, yeah, you can. You can still kind of build a team around them. And that's really the scary thing with Gohan, is the fact that you can build that team around him. And I think that's what makes him still so relevant to this day. But for the sake of this, I'm going to leave him in 10th. I'd like to do this. This kind of suits me as a unit, or as like someone who's building his own list. It is more than 10 characters, but I actually don't care. It's my list and I'll do what I want. Goku Gohan, personally, people don't like this unit. I love this unit. I think at 55%, yeah, maybe I can see there's some issues. But honestly speaking, even then, I've used them to clear so much content that they're just great. Leader skill is great. Their team is super strong. Tons of Goku's family. Tons of super powerful units. And then you also have on top of that they themselves are exceptional. And this AGL cell benefited so much from the int LR cell EZA. He fits right on that team, and that team is very strong. And he's a great second slot option for it. So really, really good stuff. If anything, maybe you could do this. Bump them down. Martian Vegeta up here. Definitely a possibility. I think there's some honorable mentions, like I say. Yajirobe could definitely slot in here. Fantastic support unit. I think Captain Ginyu, you're on his best team on his day, really highlights everything. And I think Kale would probably fit in this area once I use her a bit more. But yeah, that's my tier list. I'd love to know what you guys think. Do you disagree? Do you agree? And yeah, be really cool to see. But that's going to be it for me. See you next time. Bye.